Hi, my name is Kim Vermark. I am the author of the book series, The Chronicles of Nadine, and welcome to Author Chats. So today we've got Marie with us, who is, as an author, known as M.H. Elrich. Thank you so much for joining us today, and let's see if we can do a share screen with your bio. If not, we're going to just talk it through. Okay, so not quite working there. So Marie is an author, and one of the reasons that I've invited her to visit us is that she's got a significant following with Instagram, which is something that they recommend a lot of authors do. So Marie, I'm going to ask you to shoot straight in. I'd like you to tell us a little bit about your book, and then also to tell us about Instagram and the difference between plain Instagram and what do you call it? You call it a bookstagrammer, is that correct?
Yes, Bookstagram. Yes, there is a difference. Yeah.
She's got a huge following with the amount of posts in comparison to the amount of followers that she's got. That's a really, really good rating. So I'm going to ask you to let us know about that so that new authors can know what is the difference between just having an Instagram account, what is a Bookstagrammer, and then also I'd like you to chat a little bit to us about time management, because a lot of authors really struggle with social media. They know that they have to have it, but it can suck the life out of you in terms of time. So we really want to know, how do you manage all of that? So over to you.
Okay, well, thank you so much for having me. As Kim mentioned, I go by MH Elrich on Instagram and all my author pages. I'm a Christian fantasy author. I have 2 published novels available. One is a novella, Toothbreaker, and the other is Etania's Worth, which you can always find out on my page, and I'm sure Kim is going to put that in our notes so you can find more about that. But I actually got started on Instagram because I was listening to a podcast and they were talking about Bookstagram and saying it's a great place for people who love books to talk about books and to also build a following as an author. So I joined Instagram really as an experiment because I had tried Facebook for 2 years trying to build a following on Facebook and really hadn't found any success. Now I realize Facebook is more about groups than it is about pages. But I was like, I need to find my people, I need to find my group. So I joined Instagram, and then I just started exploring and going through different people, and I got some followers, and I was like, okay, what is it I'm doing? And I found out about Bookstagram and what is involved with that. So Bookstagrammers, the primary thing they do is talk about books. So they take pictures of books, usually aesthetic books. I'm always impressed by certain Instagrammers who have these like pristine pictures of books. And I thought to myself, well, I can't necessarily do pristine pictures of books, but I can still make my pictures look good. And because taking a picture of a book is a lot easier than trying to find a meadow full of flowers and taking a picture with a pretty dress, which is also on Instagram. So I was like, I can't go down the lifestyle route. I don't have that near me. So I can take pictures of books, and I love talking about books anyway. I was an English major in college, so books are my passion. So I was like, okay, this works. So I got started in that, and what I first started doing is finding out, okay, what hashtags do you use and how do you use them? So that was the very first step that I always tell authors is, okay, find your hashtags. And you may think it as simple as, book nerd, bookworm, book dragon, which is what I started out using. But then I realized those hashtags are so huge and have such a huge audience that they're just way too hard to get noticed unless your post goes viral, which, is like 1 in a million chance. So I realized, okay, I need to find my specific niche. So I started looking up fantasy book in the search bar. And that's the coolest thing about Instagram is they have a search bar at the top. You literally can put a hashtag and then put whatever you can think of off the top of your head. And it's almost like keyword searching. So if you've ever done keyword searching for your website or know anything about that, it's the same thing. All you have to do is put your mind into the mind of whoever your ideal reader is and think, what would they be following on Instagram? What hashtags would they be following? Or how could I get noticed to the people who like those kind of books? So there's a YA fantasy. Yes, it's really cool. So there's a YA fantasy one, an epic fantasy, historical fantasy. I mean, they have everything on there. So that was the very first thing I started doing was, okay, I have to figure out how to take good pictures of books that look pretty decent. Then I need to figure out how to make hashtags that actually get me seen before people. And then I built my following by doing follow for follow, in the sense I did follow loops with other authors or other readers who were in my genre.
So
And
explain what
go
loops
ahead.
are. Loops. People might.
Loops.
What is a loop?
So, well, the easiest way I can describe it is that someone, usually a host, will say, this is our Friday follow loop. And it's a post, their Instagram post. And all they say is, you know, below, for every person that comments, go and follow them and they'll follow you back. So it's a follow for follow.
And how do you,
And so that's, go ahead.
how do you find a loop?
You know, most of the ones I found were actually from other authors. So they tagged me and then I found them that way. You'll just, honestly, I think you'll organically encounter them because they're everywhere, and they're usually part of like organizations like Fantasy Writers for America or something that have, that are all about that, or an organization that's bigger that wants more followers. You know, they're the ones that start it. Or you can start it yourself. You could make a post that says, you know, Friday follow loop, comment below and I will follow you. Now I like the follow loops that say, if you're not comfortable following that person, you don't have to, because obviously not every account is going to match what you want and who you want to follow and who you think would like your stuff. So that's the biggest caution, I guess, with follow loops, is making sure that you find the people that you want to read your stuff and figuring out who they are and that they'll engage with your posts and things. So organically speaking, that it will increase your following that way. So I actually it took me over a year to get to 1,000 followers. So it's not like this was an overnight thing at all. It was a everyday grind kind of thing, trying to figure out what works, what doesn't work, and what can I do to increase my following, but also continue to increase my engagement. So the biggest thing that I found now is that now that I have 1,000 followers, my focus has been not getting followers, but instead getting my followers to engage on my posts. And by engagement, I'm talking comments and likes, because those are the two things that tell Instagram, hey, your post is good. You should be near the top in the whatever hashtags you are in. And also it helps the people who already follow you see your post if you've become popular enough in their feed. And so they'll like it or they'll comment on it. So now I've been working on asking questions to get people to comment below so that I get more engagement and more people interested in that sort of thing. So, but even then, you know, I still have around 10%, maybe 8% engagement rate on my post. So I have 1,000 followers, but I will get at most 100 likes per post. And it's just the reality of social media. Everyone has someone that they like, and you end up having this kind of inner group of people that are your dedicated fans and followers, and they're the ones that will like your stuff and comment. And then so then once you build that, the next part is trying to get people to convert to buy your book. I have been working on that. I feel like I've gotten, you know, a few people. at a time to read my book. I mean, more people have found out about my book on Instagram than I ever had on Facebook, or just organic me going and telling people about my book. So I feel like, and then I also feel like a lot of them have it on their Kindles, so at least they've downloaded it, even if they haven't read it yet. So that makes me feel good, is that, okay, so I've done something that at least piques their interest. But all I've done really, I don't talk about my book all the time. I talk about my book maybe once a month, maybe twice a month. Most of the time, I'm talking about other people's books. What do I love about them? What do I not like about them? What's the coolest thing about this book? And with Bookstagram too, they have what are called photo challenges, and they give you a calendar and they give you a theme for each day so that you could pick out books that match that theme. So if it says something like the best heroine or something, you could pick a book that matches a heroine that you admire and then talk about that book. So that's where I've kind of built up people on my Bookstagram and Instagram account. Is I've created photos that look pretty decent. I've done hashtag research where I thought about which hashtags go with which books. Then I've done follow loops as my third one. And then I've also tried to create engagement by asking questions. And then the fifth thing is I'm just myself talking about books. I'm not just promoting all the time, because people who use Instagram primarily for promotion, they're going to be ignored and down arrowed by the algorithm, because social media is meant to be social. They're not meant to be just a promotional advertisement for your book. So that's what I found that works. I hope that, do you have any questions about that before I talk about time management? I know it's a lot of information, but.
One of the things that I do want to ask, which not all authors know, particularly new ones, is where do you put the link for your book? Because when you have links inside Instagram, it doesn't open up. So how do you direct people to see your books if they're wanting to buy it?
You have two methods. One, you can put the link itself in your bio by itself. I've seen that work best when you're having a sale, because people don't want to click through multiple links. So that's the best thing for a sale. But if you do that, then you can't track how many clicks you get or how many you do, unless you use like, I forgot what it's called, but there's a one that shortens your URL, and you can use that, and it might track how many clicks you get. Linktree is my personal favorite, because Linktree is one link that then goes to multiple links. And so it makes it so that you have a Linktree link and you click on that and it brings up a prepared web page of like 5 different links that people can choose, whether it's read your blog, join the newsletter, buy your books, whatever it might be. And that's what I've always used. And every single time, I always tell people, if I have something for sale or I want them to do an action, I'll say link in bio, basically check it out, link in bio. And Instagram stories, which is another whole entire ball of worms, but it is a good thing to use, is you can create your own story, which it would actually take more of a demonstration because it's kind of at the top away from where you create your posts. But what I found with stories is they're more like personal and more about, you could share whatever you want. I've found that sharing about my story particularly works on stories, Instagram stories, versus Instagram posts. It's more about like the book cover and whether it attracts the eye. So, but with Instagram stories, you can also do GIFs or GIFs, however people say it. And you can do like animations that say link in bio, check out the bio, etc. Now, I know that once you reach a certain amount of followers, which I think it's something ridiculous, like 10,000 or something on Instagram, you can do the swipe up. and the swipe up is where you can just swipe and then they can go directly to the link. But I'm like, I don't think I can reach that point. That's not my goal. But people who can do that. You can also pay for Instagram ads that will give you that ability in the story to swipe up and go directly to the website with the book sale. You could do that also in the feed where you can click on it on the picture and it will go to the website, but you have to pay for those features. So you have to use the Instagram ads in order to do that. I haven't experimented with that yet, mainly because I feel like ads you need to take a class or something in order to not waste your money on them, because I feel like a lot of people could pour a lot of money into an ad and not really get any results or sales from that. So I always say, just be cautious when it comes to ads. And if you've taken a course, great, good for you, because that's probably the best way to make your money back. Just even though it's easier to get the links, it's also harder because you don't know if you're getting before the right people. So yeah, that's how you do links on Instagram. You can put a link in a comment, but people would have to copy and paste that comment, and Instagram makes it very hard to do because they just don't like it. They don't want you to share links on Instagram, which is funny because Facebook and Instagram are the same entity, and on Facebook you can share links up, all the time, but Instagram, nope, you can't do that. I don't get it.
Linktree, you mentioned Linktree. How does someone activate Linktree? Is it a paid for service or is it something that's already on Instagram?
It's a free service. It's not a part of Instagram. You have to look it up, and you can literally type in Linktree just like it's spelled, and it will pop up. I think it's actually spelled linktr.ee, but if you put in Linktree into Google or whatever your search engine, it will still pop up. It's free to use. The paid version gives you more analytics, and I've never used the paid version. I've only used the free version, and I can still look and see how many times my links have been clicked. So even if I don't get like analytics of where they're coming from or how long they stayed on the other website, I can at least see that, oh, this link has been clicked 6 times, or, oh, this link has been clicked 20 times. So that is what it gives you with the free version, and then the pro version, which you can pay for, gives you more of the in-depth stuff. But I've always used the free version and never had a problem.
Super, thanks for that. So we probably have 2 minutes to speak about time management. You have to manage your time for the 2 minutes, and then I want to just cover a little bit about your book. So let's shoot
Okay.
time management.
Yes, sure. The easiest way I've done time management is I say 30 minutes a day for social media. And if you have to put an app on your phone saying 30 minutes a day, do that, because it will help you control yourself. And I've been there. I've done where I'm on social media all the time going, why am I doing this? But that's the way I found it works for me. I also have found that if I prepare my posts on the weekend, like the captions and all the pictures and whatever else I need on the weekend, it's a lot easier during the week when I'm working to post, because then I can just copy and paste all the information and it's very simple. With the busier seasons in life, I've cut down my posting. So, and Bookstagrammers especially are very understanding, and if you just tell them, look, like for example, a friend of mine on Instagram had a baby. They were like, we're going to be out for a month and I'm not going to be on Bookstagram, so just an FYI. And we're all like, well, of course you have a baby, like we understand, we're all real people. So if you're going to school and you can't do it as much, you can cut it down to once a week, twice a week. Yeah, it might be slower to build your following, but it's still, everyone's understanding of that, and they're still going to like and comment and try and build a relationship with you as long as you're friendly and you're doing that. So that's what I always say for time management is don't let it be, like you said, a life suck. Just let it be a tool you use, and post as often or as little as you want, and just be consistent. If you're consistently there and you post once a week for weeks on end, you're still going to get followers. You're still going to get engagement from that because you're still doing at least consistently posting versus having nothing for like 3 months. That's the problem, is like if you have such a long gap where you've had absolutely nothing, that's really difficult unless you've said to your followers, hey, you know, I'm going to have a baby, I'm going to be out for 3 months. Okay, so you've told them ahead of time what they need to do. So that's the best way I can say for time management. It's always a balancing act. It's always a juggling act. I totally understand. I've been there. I'm still struggling, trying to balance, okay, social media, writing, which one should I do? And having to cut down on which ones I have to do so I can write, because writing the book is the whole point of doing this. So
but then you have the balance, like, I've written the book, now no one knows about it.
yes.
So I just have one question to ask. What do you think comes first, having the Instagram account or having the published book?
It depends on what you want to do. I'm self-published, so I was thinking more, this is my marketing thing, so it didn't matter to me if I had my book first, you know, because my book first meant I could just tell people about it right away. But if you're trying to seek a traditional publishing deal, they're looking for a large email list and a large social media following. And to get both those things, I've always felt like you have to have something free available, whether it's a novella or a free short story or something. So even then you have something written and something refined and something made for them so that you can get more followers and more awareness of your work, because that's what a traditional publisher is looking for, which you could say is a little unfortunate, because it's sad that you have to do all that work versus it used to be the traditional publisher would do that work for you and they would do all that marketing for you. Well, that's not the case. In fact, even with the smaller publishers, I just watched a video 3 weeks ago or so.
I've lost you. I've lost you. Okay. So we've kind of lost signal with Marie for now. And
Yeah.
there you go. I've got you back. So
Okay.
so you were saying that now we have to kind of do a lot more work, even if we are traditionally published. And because of time, I just want to ask you, can you please just share a little bit about your book? What age group, what genre it is, and what you're currently writing at the moment?
Yeah. The genre is YA Christian fantasy or YA fantasy with Christian themes, either one. Generally speaking, I aimed it for people who are around 16 and a little bit older. I know that it's appealed to people as young as 13 or 14, but I always say those children have higher reading levels because I do use higher vocabulary in my books. So that's generally speaking where my books appeal to is teenagers and young adults in college. Even college students might enjoy my books, but mainly I think that young women, even parents, have enjoyed my books too, because the elements in there are about your worth and identity and how you can find worth and identity and where your worth and identity comes from. So I feel like those themes are universal regardless of your age. I also know that my older readers have enjoyed Jakin, who's the parent figure in my book, and because of his struggles to relate to his daughter, and so trying to relate to your children. So those are the themes and kind of the readers that I look for, people who appreciate kind of the slow build and also the fantasy and enjoy that very deeper meanings behind their stories. So,
Interesting, because like my books are also aimed at young adults, but a lot of the readers that I've got are women that are like over 35. So that was quite a surprise.
yeah, yeah. It's really interesting who you can find, because even in my young adult genre, people who don't like the slow build but want you to be straight into the action don't necessarily like my books. But people who do like slow build are saying to me, oh my goodness, there got to a point in your book where I just couldn't put it down. And it's like, okay, so some people can appreciate that and some people can't. I think it's a taste thing,
Yeah.
you know. So whoever likes that feel of the book and also likes the romance sub themes I have in my book, because again, romance can turn some readers off, but I have that extensively in my story, and I will have that extensively in my next one as well. I have that as a subcategory, I guess, in my stories. I've always had that there. So yeah, but what I'm working on now is the sequel. So I'm working on Etania's Calling, which is a sequel to Etania's Work. It's been really difficult to work on, as I'm sure you can relate, because sometimes it's like the first one is out and you're like, oh, I love that one so much. Now I have to do it again. How can I do this again? So, but I expect it to be done eventually. I have a lot going on right now, but I'm hoping at the earliest it would be next summer. At the latest, it would be next fall for my next one coming out. But I do have right now on my email list, I've been sending out segments of my story. So I've always asked people to sign up for the email list so that they can still get some of my work and still be immersed in my universe, because all the stories I send through my newsletter are in my universe, even if they're not necessarily the next one in the book. So yeah, that's what I'm working on now. That's what I've had published, and that's the kind of reader I'm looking for. And
then you did
thank you so much.
in one of our chats that you've got another thing going on. Is it proofreading, or what is that other business that you're involved in?
Oh, yes. So what I am doing, and for those who are interested in Instagram, is I am doing proofreading for authors. We do a lot of different things, anywhere from newsletters to helping you proof your social media posts. We don't do social media scheduling, but we will like look through your posts, help you figure out hashtags. I could help you with that in Instagram. We'll do the same with Facebook, and we charge pretty reasonable fees. I also have a friend who works with me who's traditionally published. So if you want to have her look over your book proposals or your cover letters, she's great at that because she knows exactly what they're looking for, and she's done it for years. So it's through the Cottage Writer is what I usually use for. And so you can look up the Cottage Writer on Facebook, and we have a Facebook page there and a group for authors if you want to join.
Excellent. Well, I have to say thank you so much for taking the time. I know it's like relatively early in the morning over there for you, so wow, that put like extra hours in your day, but I really appreciate it. Let us know when the next book comes out so that we can share that as well. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And I will definitely.
Bye for now.
Bye.